My name is Michael, and I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Thanks, Mike. Where were you before you came to Roads to Recovery? What was your living situation?
I had gone back with my parents, which is normally the case with a lot of alcoholics and addicts. We don't seem to do too well sometimes on our own. Eventually, I was in South Carolina. I was in sober living there. That was a pretty rough situation. I had remained sober for a good length of time down there. I had almost a year, and I came back up in May, and I relapsed a couple weeks on my birthday. After that, I had a lot of anger, a lot of resentment. Even with the clean time, there was still not really much of a program. So, yeah, I just that's what I was doing, and eventually they seen the attitudes and behaviors change as they've always seen, and they knew something was up. And then I was getting drunk every day in the last couple weeks, and so eventually they said, "You got to go," and we found out about Roads to Recovery.
Great. Where were you when you came into the program? Where were you in your battle with substance use disorder?
I always had a tenacity for the last 5 years when I first entered the rooms to get clean and sober, but I was just in and out. I was what they call a chronic relapser, which is another way of saying I wasn't ready. And I wanted this. I knew I did. I wanted it bad enough, but I was pretty nervous when I got into Roads to Recovery after what I went through in South Carolina.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you've been in a residential recovery program before.
Yes, multiple occasions. Yeah, in and out. I'm the normal case, jails, institutions, being locked up, being in different sober living, being in different recovery programs and stuff. Just basically flip flopping around. Yeah.
What have you found anything to be different about Roads to Recovery than some of those other places?
Yes, Roads to Recovery gave me a chance, and still is giving me the chance to enhance a program, to actually have a program. And the big difference is there's more people, it seems to be, that are on the same page. There's a little bit more freedom. It's not like this, for lack of a better term, like a Nazi program where you have to do this and you have to do that. And it's like in South Carolina, if you accidentally cursed, you were being forced to dig a 5 by 5 by 5 foot hole, and then you had to fill it back in. And it's just, they kind of give you a little leeway. They're not here to hold your hand, because if you really want this, you'll get it. And I, for me, I was finally at a point where I was willing to go to any length to get it. So, and Roads to Recovery has put me in a position for the accountability to be able to get to meetings and read literature and do the things that I just never really put forward any effort to do. So.
Great. So after spending 13 months here, how do you feel about the possibility of long-term recovery?
Great. It's one day at a time.
Yeah.
But there is a light now at the end of the tunnel, and there's a clear vision. I'm no longer in the fog. I see black and white. I see good and bad. I see things for what they really are. It is put things in a different, I for one have a different perspective and a perception than I once had. So I think there's been moments of clarity. I think you could say epiphanies or a cathartic period, if you will.
Awesome, that's great. Can you tell me about one short-term goal that you have and one long-term?
Absolutely. Short-term goal is to get back into CVCC, finish out and get my associates. There's only a few courses left to get. And then I'm going to go long-term in school. That's not the long-term goal as far as, but that's where I want to continue and probably get into history and psychology and political science. So, yeah, multiple platforms. But a long-term goal is to stick around in Roads to Recovery. I don't see me leaving Roads to Recovery anytime soon. And it's not that I'm using it as a, roof room, but it's just because I've learned to get so involved with newcomers and stuff. There's a love and a compassion that wasn't there before, and just doing service work. And so I want to continue on with Roads, and maybe they might make me a house manager and just kind of serve in that way as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. So have you discovered anything recently that makes you feel happy or content or calm?
Reading. I read a lot now. I read daily devotions every morning and every night. I read different things. Right now I'm reading C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity. I also reading Miyamoto Musashi's The Book of Five Rings. So, but different thing. I find myself, and it's like a world's been opened up, and once I start, I can't stop. I just grab on to like whatever interests me, and once I get started, I read. I'm also reading an autobiography of Jerry Falwell.
Awesome. Yeah. So you're getting around to multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Have you rediscovered any old activity that now you enjoy, maybe even more now that you're in recovery?
Outdoor work, believe it or not. I landscaped for a while, but it seems to be different when I'm doing it on our own property than stand back and see, just the work and stuff. Just the simple things. This is simple things in life, just trimming the hedges and mowing the lawn, but also biking. I got into that. I haven't done it in a while. I have a high metabolism. I lose 20 pounds on one time I do. So I bike here and there. Calisthenics, I do that, yeah. Just any kind of outdoor activity, even just a simple walk around the neighborhood, just stuff to clear my mind. So, but I'm sure as time goes on, more things will open up. More shall be revealed, as they say.
Have you experienced a high point recently that you can tell us about?
Yes. I wouldn't say recent. It's been consistent since it happened. I can't tell you when it happened. I know a spiritual awakening happened. There was a time I just finally ceased fighting everything and everyone, including God, and I now recoil from a drink and a drug like it's a hot stove. There is a fire within me that wasn't there before. There is a love within me that wasn't there before. Beginning to love myself more, but also getting to know myself. And it was just an important, question that St. Augustine had once asked in his book of Confessions that it hit me. And that's pretty much what started this whole process of growing in recovery was, God, I want to know yourself, but I want to know myself. And that's just the journey that I've taken. And since then, that's just, there's no words can describe what has happened in just these last so many months. I don't know what to say. It's just, yeah.
It's good stuff. Tell us something that you're proud of yourself for.
Not giving up, no matter what. Just continuously keep going, that tenacity.
What's one thing that people that don't suffer from substance use disorder that you wish that they knew more about the disease?
Once an individual crosses the threshold of full-blown alcoholism and drug addiction, you're no longer dealing with that individual anymore. And there's absolutely nothing that a family member, a friend, no one can do until that person first has to get off the substances. Only then can there be any room for recovery, but they have to want it. So there's nothing, this is the biggest struggle a lot of families have, is trying to save. You can't save anyone. Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's nothing short of a miracle.
If there's somebody that's watching this right now that's struggling with substance use disorder, what would you tell them?
Keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting.
Man, that's short and very sweet. That's a good one. What wisdom would you share with the younger you?
I would definitely be patient. It's going to get better.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to do a couple fun questions here. So if I gave you $50,000 right now, what business would you start?
I would start my own program.
Oh.
My own recovery program. I actually have had ideas, a lot of plans for it. It would be somewhat different, but it would be a program that is designed to also help men coming, out of prison to transition. There's not a lot of prison recovery, so a lot of guys come out worse off than they were before they went in. And so this gives them the chance to not only be given the tools to be able to intuitively know how to handle situations that may once have baffled them before they got there, but also to join something that they could be proud of, like a camaraderie and having like a family of brothers.
Great. If you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room for the rest of your life, what song would it be?
Oh, wow. There's a lot of songs I love, a lot of songs that I've grown to love in recovery. Oh, man. I guess one, I don't know why it's coming to mind, is Aerosmith, Back in the Saddle. But there's a lot of good songs. That's a hard one. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in here today, Michael. Your story and others, peers, is just going to be what could really change someone's life that's watching this right now. So we just want to thank you for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thank you.